Alright, hello beautiful people. I am back with another Voice Teacher Reacts. And today I will be doing the very last song of the NPR Tiny Desk concert, which is Spring Day. I do think this is such a beautiful song. So I'm going to be I'll be taking a little bit of a deep dive into this particular video and seeing what type of little vocal techniques they use and probably fangirl just a little bit. But without further ado, let's go. Let's get into Spring Day by BTS.
Okay, all right. The next one is Spring Day, and I believe as such difficult time like now we all are wishing for the Spring Day to come. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
It's been the roughest summer ever. But we know that spring will come. So let's go together. Let's go.
보고 싶다 이렇게 말하니까 더 보고 싶다 너의 사진을 보고 있어도 보고 싶다 너무 약속한 시간 나는 우리가 밉다 이제 얼굴 한번 보는 것조차 힘들어진 우리가
여긴 온통 겨울뿐이야.
Alright, I almost forgot to pause. So, starting with J-Hope's voice. And I think I say this almost every video, and I think I'll start linking cards to all the previous videos that I've done surrounding BTS, because I do want to venture out into other artists. But I think J-Hope has such a beautiful singing voice, and I think he needs to use it more often. I know he's a part of the rap line maybe, but when I hear that lower registered kind of singing from him, it always sounds so smooth and so clean. And yeah, he needs to use his singing voice a lot more, because it's extremely relaxing also.
8월에도 겨울이 와 마음은 시간이 달려가네 홀로 남은 설국 열차 네 손 잡고 지구 반대편까지 가 겨울을 끝내고파 그리움들이 얼마나 눈처럼 내려 그 봄날이 올까
허공에 떠도는 잘긴 먼지처럼 작은 먼지처럼.
Alright, so with RM's, I guess, rap singing, because it's a little bit of a mix of both. What I like when they give RM like little melodies to do, he still takes like his rap sound with it, and I don't know if that makes sense. So what I mean is oh my goodness, I don't know how to explain it, but it sounds great, but it's like he just brings that style of rap into his singing, and you hear that raspiness of his voice, almost like he still is talking a little bit, but you hear that melody underneath it, and it's such a good blend when he does it. And then just the switch from that deeper tone in his voice to the lightness, that lighter sound. Jimin has not very soft, he has a softer voice, so to go from that kind of somewhat heavy lower tone to that soft and bright, that very soft, bright, and light kind of tone, I like that contrast also.
날리는 눈이 나라면 조금 더 빨리 내게 닿을 수 있을 텐데 눈꽃이 떨어져요 더 조금씩 멀어져요 보고 싶다 보고 싶다 보고 싶다 보고 싶다 얼마나.
Oh my goodness, it is so hard to pause during the song, because when I tell you I just want to sit and listen and just just relax to it. Oh my goodness. But V, I'm sorry for the pause that I did for your face, baby. I'm sorry. But with V's upper register, I feel like I talk about it a lot, because I do mention this in the previous videos, but I guess I'll say it again for this one. V's tone in his voice. The tone in his voice is very low. He has a lower register than the rest of them too. The fact that he's able to hit similar notes as his other group members is amazing. And he does it almost looks like with no effort. Because like when he's doing dun dun da da dun da da, he's doing that little section, and I don't see the what I call scrunchy face. Like he's trying to get that forward placement, that like nasally kind of placement in his nose. I don't see that. It's like his entire body is just relaxed, and the notes are just floating out of him, and it's amazing. I guess side note, I actually use V as not necessarily a blueprint, but almost like an example for one of my students, because he actually has a lower tone voice just like V does. And I know like my students, I'm not going to go too in depth, but we're working on higher notes, and I just kind of use V as an example of like, hey, like it's possible. And I tell him like, hey, like he does these songs where he can hit these higher notes, because I know V's head voice is extremely strong also. I can't remember where I saw it, but his head voice is extremely strong also. So I kind of point out like the scrunchy face technique, him relaxing himself, making sure that he's good as far as like what to do with his voice. And also I feel like I'm going on a little bit of a tangent about V. Oh my goodness. But last thing about V, I also noticed V is very aware. I mean, and I'm pretty sure they all are. But V is very aware when he goes into his voice, goes into certain notes. If you actually notice, sometimes in Dynamite, he knows when he can hit that note at the end and when he can't. Or he knows when he wants to do a different type of inflection in his voice and when he doesn't. And I love it. I love it so much. But let's go ahead and get back to the song.
기다려야 좀 몇 밤을 더 세워야 널 보게 될까 만나게 될까
정겨울 끝을 지나 다시 봄날이 올 때까지 꽃 피울 때까지 그곳에 좀 더 머물러줘.
Okay. Again, what I mean with Hobie's voice, it is so smooth. I think he was actually singing with JK at that point. JK was doing the higher register and he was doing the lower. But J-Hope's voice, man, his singing voice is so smooth. And I know I just said this earlier, but it is so smooth and so relaxing. Like, man, you know what? We're going to start a petition. How about we just start a petition to like let all the rap members just start singing for a little bit? I think it would be great to hear. I'm just saying.
We miss you, me.
네가 변한 건지
네가 변한 건지
아니면 내가 변한 건지
내가 변한 건지
이 순간 흐르는 시간조차 미워 우리가 변한 거지 뭐 모두가 그런 거지 그래 미안 네가 난 떠났지만 단 하루도 너 잊은 적
To master sexual excellence, I'm
Oh my goodness. What? No, ma'am. Back to the video. Goodbye. My goodness. Wow. Just interrupted me. Okay. Well, what I was actually going to say is I like the not the play per se, but I like the contrast between which members are doing what. So, and again, I don't speak Korean, so I'm gonna do my best to explain with like the way the melody sounds. But with J-Hope, with the and then you have Jungkook over him, who also has like a little bit of a stronger head voice, with like a I think it's nice that they actually paired those two together because their voices do blend really well together. But then compare that to when Yoongi is doing his section here, then dun 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 dun, he's doing his rap, and Jimin comes in almost like an echo, dun 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 dun, like really light. And I love the way that they pair the group members up. So I just wanted to point that out before I was so really interrupted by the commercial. And I forgot to unmute. Oh my goodness.
그래 미안 네가 난 떠났지만 단 하루도 너 잊은 적이 없었지 난 솔직히 보고 싶을 때
만나를 지울게
이게는 원망하기보단 덜하지 널 풀어내본 연기처럼 하얀 연기처럼
Oh, I got a good pause. Oh, well, someone good pause. I got a good. You can see his face pretty well. So, if you actually noticed, I'm gonna mute again. I'm gonna rewind back just a little bit. Jin actually does scrunchy face right there, right there. So he kind of does it to get himself started with that note, and yeah, scrunchy face is at least I call it scrunchy face. It is a technique to get your voice to be a little bit more nasal instead of in your throat. And you know, a lot of people think, oh, when you sing, it's supposed to come from your throat because that's where your vocal cords are. Technically, yes, the sound is produced in your vocal cords, but if you place it in your nose, there are certain notes that if you try to sing it in your throat, it would actually start to strain your voice, and if it continues, it can cause more serious damage. The best example of that I can use is actually Meghan Trainor. I don't know if you guys remember, this was like years ago, but she had something called, oh my goodness, what are those called? I think they're lymph nodes? Nodules, vocal nodules, oh my goodness. But Meghan Trainor had vocal nodules, which are essentially little bumps on your vocal cords. And from what I have heard, the option is you essentially not talk for 3 months while they go away, or you can get them surgically removed. And if I remember correctly, Meghan Trainor got them twice. And I think the first time she got them, she just decided to do the not speaking. And I think she talked about like how she had to go around with like a little, she had to go around like with a little band from like the Heads Up game, and she would have to type and it would speak and all that kind of things like that. And the second time she got them, she said, we're just going to do the surgery. And so, and I just say all that to say it's not like it's a bad thing to happen, but it can happen if, let's say you are a performer, but you're doing a bunch of shows a night, and maybe your voice isn't being taken care of the best, or maybe you're straining too much on stage one night. It can happen if it is over time. You know, the nodules can happen if it is like a process over time that you're straining your voice. But yeah, and essentially all the forehead placement does is try to release some of that tension that is in your throat. So, and we're human. It's not always going to work out that way, but it is not always going to work out that way, but we can do what we can to at least reduce the risk. I'll say it that way. So, yeah, the scrunchy face, all it does is kind of get you a little bit more nasal. You're not going to walk around on stage sounding like like whiny all the time. It's not going to be up there the entire time, but it'll keep you good to go.
말로는 지운다 해도 사실 난 아직 널 보내지 못하는데
눈꽃이 떨어져요 더 조금씩 멀어져요 보고 싶다 보고 싶다 보고 싶다 보고 싶다 얼마나
V just did scrunchy face too. Just want to point that out there. V just did scrunchy face too. And another thing, I actually really like that sometimes they use, at least in this particular song, they actually use Jin as the lower register. So Jungkook does the 보고 싶다, And then Jin comes in with the Boko Shipda. And I actually really like that because I don't think I hear Jin use much of his lower register. So it's a nice change of pace.
기다려야 또 몇 밤을 더 세워야 널 보게 될까
널 보게 될까
만나게 될까
만나게 될까
Okay. One other thing I want to point out with V, I'm not sure if I pointed this out in the previous two songs from the Tiny Desk concert. I noticed V is actually raising his eyebrows a lot, which is another way of taking off tension. There are a lot of little tricks that you can use to take, think about the notes that you have to hit. So when he's raising his eyebrows, he's like, I have to go up. I'm thinking up. I have to raise my voice for this note. So I just thought that was neat. I don't think I noticed that before. So it's just like a little nice touch.
You know it all You're my best friend 하지만 다시 올 거야
어떤 어둠도 어떤 계절도 영원할 순 없으니까
Oh my goodness, that whole section with V and Jin, they're the flips in their voice are amazing. So for V, it's gonna be out of his mix into his head voice. The you know it all, you're my best friend. He does such a beautiful switch for his voice, and I love that so much right there. So, and Jin actually does a great job of switching from his chest voice to his mixed voice, and they're so effortless and they're smooth. So, and for those, I don't think I've actually determined like what those are actually. So when I'm speaking about chest voice, mixed voice, and head voice, chest voice is what you would hear more so like the belting range. It's usually a little bit of a deeper tone. And head voice is of course that really like the really, really light, breathy kind of sound. So mixed voice, the easiest way to explain it, at least the way I explain it to my beginner students, mixed voice, it sounds like chest voice, but it feels like head voice. So it can sound very loud and very project like a chest voice, but it is actually very light like head voice. And then of course you add a little bit more air and you automatically go into head voice. So yeah, I don't think I've ever actually talked about the differences between the three, but just the way V and Jin in this song are able to switch, it is so beautiful. That's the best word I can describe is beautiful. I want to hear V do that again, that flip into his head voice. Let's listen to that one more time. So that again, the flip to head voice also sounds just gorgeous. But if you look again, he does the eyebrow raise right there. It's like I need to go up, I need to be higher. Okay, so this is such a beautiful song. Oh my goodness, let's just finish it out. Let's keep on going. Before I even get into the ooh woes, wow, Jin's voice here, it is so light, it's so like fluffy and so just beautiful. And I do notice that oh my goodness, oh wow, that was such a beautiful section. He's in his head voice here, and the stability in his breath sounds amazing also. And he's doing that. So I believe I talked about this in Dynamite, and I'll kind of reiterate here. Jin almost like releases too much air when he sings. It's like, and then he'll start singing, but he does it here, and it fits the song, if that makes sense. It's almost like there's more emotion behind it here, because in Dynamite it'll be like shining through the city with a little funkin' soul, so it'll like kind of be like that. But here, and I can't remember the line exactly, but when he releases that air beforehand, there's like a bigger punch to it. It just sounds great. And also, before I did cut off the ooh, whoa, I noticed now V has kind of switched to the scrunchy face technique instead of just the eyebrows. Honestly, it could mean a tremendous number of things. It could mean that maybe that note, because it sounds like he's in more of a mixed voice here, so he might require a little bit more power than if he were in his head voice. So, but yeah, that sounded great also.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for the beautiful music. All right. So I guess that will be it for the rest of the Tiny Desk concert. So that was Spring Day by BTS. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will somewhat see you in the next video.
Let me start